Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm setting up Q3 and July in this A5 hardcover Leuchtturm in Rising Sun. This is just what I'm feeling in my planner life right now, so here we go. Here are the supplies that I'll be using to complete this setup. I have a ruler to use as a straight edge, a pencil and eraser, a black fine liner, my choice of brush pen, which is the Zebra Funwari, a light gray brush marker to use as a highlighter, this Zig dot marker in gray, and liquid correction. I'll have links to everything I just showed you guys in the description box down below, except for the liquid correction pen. I got this pen like 5 years ago at Daiso, and I have not been able to find one like it since. So let's get into this setup. I'm calling this a Q3 setup video, but all that really means for me is that I'm taking the time to add a future log. I don't typically set these things up, but that's because in a bound book system like this, I tend to just plan 1 month at a time, and I don't worry about year-long collections or things like that. I have 2 other planners in my system where I keep year-long trackers and information, and I just don't find it super necessary to keep those things in here. And I'm only adding this future log in the strange and unlikely event that I decide to stop using my other books. This is very much just me, just in case doomsday prepping. I don't typically use fine liners, but they're the best pen for setting up journals, so I'm using a fine liner for all of the line work and characters in this initial setup, and a brush marker for the headers. And I really don't like how I lettered the month names, but that's okay. I probably won't be looking at these pages all too often, so we can just turn the page and act like it did not happen. After the simple year at a glance or half year at a glance, I have my cover page for July, and this is pretty simple too. I just have the month name and number, and you'll see later that I actually use this as an index for the month. Next, we have my month at a glance. This layout is heavily inspired by the Hobonichi weeks, and if you follow me on Instagram and recall that post that I shared about how I use all of my different monthly inserts, I plan on using this monthly the exact same way that I was using the monthly view in my Hobonichi weeks. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I can leave that post link down below, as well as links to my other platforms in case you want to follow along in my roller coaster ride of a planner journey. It's actually not as bad and frightening as it used to be. It's pretty tame now, but it is still a ride. Anyway, if you're using the same size Leuchtturm as I am, these boxes that I'm drawing are 6 spaces by 5 spaces. And just a quick rundown on how I use this spread. I jot down day-specific events in the boxes, and then in the space to the left of the boxes, I write down week-specific tasks and ideas and notes and things like that next to the week that they correspond to, but they aren't exactly day-specific. And then at the bottom, I have sections marked off for personal and work things for the month, as well as personal and work things for next month that I want to make note of. And I'm all about compartmentalizing things and breaking things down because that's just how my brain likes to process things. Next, we have my collection of monthly logs. You're probably used to seeing people set these pages up at the beginning of their bullet journal to keep up with for the whole year, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm all about breaking things down. I find that it's a lot easier for me to keep track of things on a monthly basis. It keeps it fresh and easier to maintain, and I know it might be tempting to set something up just because everyone else is doing it that way, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And that's okay. You gotta do what works for you. So for the individual logs, I have a log for my groceries, and I'll transfer those items to my actual grocery list whenever it's time to. I have an entertainment log to keep track of entertainment I want to consume for the month. This is helpful to remember release dates, premiere and finale dates, and things like that. I also have a spot for rating those things once I've consumed them, which is pretty fun. And then I have a content log to track any videos or blog posts that I want to put out, and the general checklist that I go through to get to the final posting stage. And underneath this, I kept it blank. That was intentional. I usually have my systems log there, but I just haven't been changing up my system all that much, so it would have just taken up space, and I just decided to not do that. Next, I have my health log. This is where I like to keep track of all my health related things that I've got going on for the month: mental health, emotional health, physical, all the healths. And I'm drawing in another monthly, and around it I have areas for lists and note taking. In the boxes, I like to think of this as a snapshot of my health for the month, so I make note of any health symptoms, doctor's visits, start and end dates of vitamins, medications, my cycle, literally everything going on health related. And then on the left side and a little below that, I have a space to elaborate on any of the symptoms. And then I have a space for the current month's health stuff, ideas and goals and things like that. And then a space for next month's. I've been keeping a health log for the last few months, and I think it's really helped me become more aware of my body and listening to her better. And then the next 2 pages are for my daily gratitude and journal prompts. I set them up at the same time for the sake of convenience with a brush pen and everything, but we'll start with the writing prompts page on the right. I like to pick out a journaling challenge to encourage myself to write throughout the month. Journaling is extremely therapeutic for me, and I highly recommend following guided prompts like this if you want to start journaling yourself. This page is blank for now, but once we get closer to July, I'll either look for a challenge on Instagram or find one with a Google search, and I'll write in all of the prompts. And then on the highlights and gratitude page on the left, it's pretty simple. Every day of the month gets a line, and I like to just quickly jot something down that was special from every single day. And I highlight the weekends in the event that I fall off. It's easier to navigate myself around the month to find where we are. It's similar to writing the days of the week next to the dates without actually doing all of that. And then we have the weeklies. I'm drawing out a horizontal week on 1 page layout with notes for all 5 weeks of July. I'm breaking down the weekly layout the same way that I did in my Hobonichi weeks, and I can leave a link to my Instagram post with all the details on that if you're interested. The right page will be for my trackers and inbox for the week, and I've decided to leave these blank so that I can set them up when I'm ready and at that week, and not be married to what I might have laid down during this initial setup. My relationship with the weekly layout has been kind of confusing, especially going from being a full-time student to part-time to graduated and unemployed, and then running my own small business and all of the different planning styles I've tried to use throughout all of those stages. But for right now, I feel like having this kind of weekly overview has served me really well, and I feel like it's a really helpful tool in managing my work life and my personal life. And then next, I have my expense log. It's just a place to keep all of my spending throughout the month. And following my expense log would be my daily logs, but we aren't quite there yet. And if you're interested in seeing how those turn out, stay tuned for an update later this month, or follow along on my Instagram or Patreon. Now I'm just filling out the index or table of contents for the month back on my cover page. I'd rather create a detailed index for the month and see exactly what that month holds just from that page, instead of having like this really big index at the front of my journal. I really like compartmentalizing things and breaking things down. It's just my jam and how I like to work and manage things. So that is pretty much it for this setup video. I hope you got something out of it and maybe picked up some things to implement in your own system, whether it's a bullet journal or any other kind of planner. We love planners around here. Doesn't matter what kind it is. Outros are really awkward for me, and I never know what to say. So subscribe if you want to see more. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you later. Bye!